Dobry den, Stravete, and welcome back to our little Bulgarian adventure. Now, the more observant amongst you may notice I'm on my own. As we mentioned last week, Lynn's gone back to the UK to visit family, spoil the grandchildren, that sort of thing. So Max and I are left here to our own devices for 2 weeks, so who knows what could happen. Anything really. But this week, what's been happening with us? Well, the weather's been autumnal. It's been chillier in the mornings and the evenings, but still lovely during the day. And we thought we'd take the opportunity to be able to get outside, do some work in the garden, in the woodland, just tidying up and generally bringing things together ready for the winter. So this is what we've been doing this week. So now that summer's finished and autumn is here, we've been sorting out the garden, getting it ready for its winter rest. Lynn's worked hard preparing all the beds, getting rid of all the excess growth. Still a little bit to do, but we are getting there and it's looking a lot better. There are still a few bits left to harvest. We're growing here a few more cabbages. We haven't done those before. It's going to be interesting to see how they come out, but watch this space. We also still have some peppers. We're leaving them on to see if they redden up a bit. We'll wait and see. Again, we don't really know, but we'll see what happens and go from there. And we're still harvesting some of our little orange cherry tomatoes. These are native to our garden. They grow absolutely everywhere, and we must have thousands of them over the course of the year. We're coming to the end of those. They've done really well again this year, so once they're gone we can put them to bed for yet another year. We also have our usual autumnal display of flowers. Lynn works quite hard to make sure these grow. We've got crocuses, we've got marigolds, I think. Like I say, I'm not the gardener, but yes, it brings a nice splash of colour this time of year. We also have quite a nice harvest of apples to come from the apple tree in the middle of our garden. We've got some smaller apple trees that we planted ourselves a couple of years ago. We had one apple off of one of the trees, which is not bad for for the second year. So they've established themselves, and hopefully we'll have more apples as time goes on. Now we turn our attention to the woodland. We start the clear up. Well, we've actually started. Lynn's done a lot of strimming out here, kept things under control. We're now looking to take down any dead trees because they're easier to see this time of year than when all the leaves come off the trees. So anything that's dead we're going to take down now and see where that leaves us. We want to be quite careful that we don't take too much out of the woodland, but anything that's dead has to come down. It's a danger to us and danger to other trees, so that's our task today. See what we've got, bring it down. This is one such tree. You can see while every other tree around it has leaves on it, this has none at all. Now this may have been dead for a year or two. We're at the stage now where it needs to come down, so the chainsaw, a rope, Lynn, myself and Max, and we'll bring it down. So we've decided where the tree is going to fall. There's that tree there which is actually behind this one, so it's going to come through this tree somehow. We'll see what happens there. But it's the big tall one at the back. Now to make it a bit safer, we're going to fix a rope to it so that Lynn and Max can be on the end of the rope guiding it in the right direction while I'm cutting it at the bottom. That's the plan. First things first, let's get a rope on it. We're also at this point planning on just going through here, tidying up around the bottom of the trees, all this dead grass that you can see and bits of growth. They'll all be coming down, and then I'll just open up the ground, allowing the weather to get to it and room for new growth in the spring. And this is another area where we need to do some thinning out, just to allow the undergrowth to breathe and allow the new growth to come through. So after a day of tidying and clearing, we had the burn barrel going, burning off some of the dead grass, old wood, that sort of thing. This is what we're left with on the floor of the woodland. It's coming out quite nicely. So this should do it for now. We've got the woodland in a state where we can look after it over the winter. We'll enjoy the leaves on the trees for a few more days. We've still got the hammock set up for when it gets warmer. And until then, we'll leave you with the view that we get swinging in our hammock. You'll have seen in the video we had some lovely flowers in the garden. Here's a few more I've taken some photos of, so you can see exactly what we're dealing with this time of year. The other exciting bit of news is, as mentioned in the video, we got our first apple from an apple tree that we planted. This is it, and it tasted very nice. So hopefully next year we'll have a few more. But that's more down to Lynn than down to me. She does all the planting and gardening. I just occasionally cut down trees. We did have a slight concern at the beginning of the week with Lynn's travel plans, in that she was flying into Luton, and of course on Tuesday they had the car park fire. Well, by the time Thursday came around and her flight was due, things seemed to be back to normal. Uneventful flight, everything went according to plan. I've heard from her this morning, everything's going well. She's spent some time with the grandchildren before they went to school, and now she's spending some time with Sam, so hopefully they'll all have a good time. She's up to see Kira and Angus later in the week, so I hope you all really enjoy yourselves. Max and I have obviously been left to our own devices, so healthy eating is probably not on the cards for the next few weeks. There's a few things we want to try out and do, but there's also a list of jobs that I've been left, or I've assigned myself. I've been banned from going on the roof while Lynn's away. I think this is probably a sensible precaution, but there are things I can be doing. My first job this week is going to get some materials to do some of the little projects we've got. I've got some work to do up in the attic. We're also looking to improve the conditions for the dogs over winter, so we'll let you know how that goes. But in the meantime, I think you're currently up to date, so it's time for me to say, stay safe, be well, dos goro.